Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing preview guests from HackTheBox. This is a box shirt about solid medium. And yeah, let's get on to the video. As always, I'm sorry about my terminals here. I'm pinging the IP address from ping count for 3 for 10.10.11.83. We did get a response back from the server, some sort of AMAP scan. So do MMISSC for default scripts and enumeration. We'll scan on ports on the IP. Doing this, I'll do my Z verbose. Does seem like we have a total of 2 ports open. Port 80 open for HTTP and also port 22 open for SSH. I'm sorry for port 80. You already get a previous HTTP. I did put this into my /etc host, so I can cat this out for my /etc host. And you'll see that I have this for 10.10.11.83 for the IP address and previous HTTP for the host name. And now we are under previous HTTP. So here we do have a page here. We do have a previous JS for this. We have a company. We can have a contact. Maybe we can look for subdomains. But we don't have anything. I'll do control use source code. And we do have this as syntax highlighting, also wrap long lines. So it doesn't seem like we do have anything under here. So I'm start running a go buster. So to go buster dir mode -u into the IP address, we'll do -w for user share word list or buster directory list to medium.txt. We'll do extensions HTML, TXT, and also PHP. Again, the ports, we only have 2 ports open, port 80 open for HTTP and also port 22 open for SSH. And this seems like these are the only 2 ports open for 10.10.11.83. So look at this, we have a /API, API.html, API.txt. We do have a docs. So I'm going to go to /API, see what this leads to. And it seems like we do need to sign in. We could try like admin. We sign in. And of course, we're not able to sign in. Looking back, I did see a previous JS. I'm going to search what this is. I'll just do this for like an exploit. We have a Next.js authentication bypass, the CVE for 2025. Let's see what we're working with here. So it seems like we have, we're not sure if this is running Next.js. However, as a previous JS, we can actually test the its internal header, which is going to be X middleware sub request. And this is sending to, I guess is long for bypassive authentication. So let's see if we can find a better, let's go to this authorization bypass. You'll see that it does use the middleware, the X middleware for the header. So we can just test it within curl. We do have the exploit.py here. Let's check this out. It's basically just using curl. Let's go back. Let's try to copy that header one more time. Let's copy that X middleware sub request header. And it is sending a exploit vectors. And it seems like it's just sending headers, right? That's all it's basically doing. So I'm going to start using curl. I'm going to use curl to see how we can actually exploit this. Look at my terminals here. We'll do a curl. We'll send this. We'll specify -h for the headers. In this case, I'm not too sure what the payload is doing. Let's go to a middleware authorization bypass. So here it's basically sending a middleware for the, I believe this is the whole header. It's saying this about 4 times, 5 times. So let's copy this, and this is the header, see what we get. So press it on that. And we have if we try to, let's see if we can parse this. So usually I like copying this and parsing this. We can even put this like into a, here, if I put this into index.html, we can load this within Firefox. So I do Firefox for index. You'll see now we have the main source code. It seems like it is doing authorization bypass. So go down. Doesn't seem like this was successfully logged in as supposedly this bypasses the header. We do have other, I believe, directories. So you can go to like a docs If we go back, but this was leading to docs, I think. Yeah, I think this was, we'll go to /docs to see what we do get from curl. So do 8/API. This just goes to API. Let's go to docs. Now we have a different response now. So I'm gonna put this into index.html. We do Firefox for index.html. And it seems like this page could not be found for this. So we're doing something wrong here for, maybe just go to docs maybe. And now we're logged in as unknown. So it does seem like this is bypassing auth just through the header for middleware sub requests. So let's see how this works. This is just working because it's doing a maximum recursion, I guess middleware execution, and it's just basically just a loop which affects the vulnerability and allows for bypass authorization. I'm pretty sure this was the same thing. This is the same thing that the Python script's doing, just doing bypassing authorization using that same that middleware sub request. So it seems like when we go under /docs, we can basically view, do Control L. We can basically just view anything with under docs or /API. We don't have any. I'm not sure. API does not. If we go to /API, I believe we didn't see anything under here. We just saw /API. So since we do have a /API directory, which is valid, it does redirect back to. I believe it is redirecting back to /API, just back to the login. So I'm going to do a sub recursive or against the sub directory for /API. So we'll start by doing that. So I'm going to just copy. We'll copy address. I'm going to do wfuzz. We'll do -u. I'm going to start by fuzzing for a subdirectory against API. We'll do -w for user share word list or buster directory. Let's do medium.txt. We do extension HTML, TXT, and also PHP. Actually, we have -w. We don't need this is wfuzz, not GoBuster. So we can take off the -x, see the request or the response. We do have a -h. We can do -hw for 1. So we're taking out the wording out of 1. Press it on that. It doesn't seem to work, so let's try this against, of course, we need to specify a header. So let's do wfuzz, we'll grep out for header. It seems like we just have -h, the same thing for, the same thing as curl, right? We have -h for the header. Let's go back, let's try to copy our header one more time. So now we have the header. We'll take this off for HW1. So now we have the wording for 66. We can tell the difference between responses. And we have download. So let's go to download now. So we go to API, download. And yeah, this seems like it seems like it is only download. So since this is redirect, let's do this one more time with download. We're still using the same header to authenticate as a random user, as admin, I suppose, or just bypassing authentication. I don't even think it's a user since it's just bypassing authentication. Let's take off this index.html, curl this, and now we do have invalid file name. Another thing I like to do is usually during pen test, sometimes during pen test, if we do have a working parameter, let's like during an API pen test or something, if I just do download 1 for unknown, you'll see that we have something completely different from the response that we got. We take off download 1, and now we did get an invalid file name. So we know that this is using this previous API download is a valid file path. Let's go back. Let's go to API download. So now we're going to do download, and we're going to start looking for a parameter. It is checking for, in this case, which we did see, it is looking for a file name. We don't know the parameter for the file name. So we're going to fuzz this for a random parameter for file type. Let's take this off. -HW for 2. So after a while, we do get a parameter for example. So we can start by, since we do know the parameter, which is going to be for example, I'm just do question mark for example as the parameter. This case, I don't know if we do ID. It says file not found. I'm guessing it's going to be local file inclusion since it is looking for file not found. Let's run this one more time. Instead of ID, let's try to do a /d password. Doesn't seem to be found. So this is probably running against the document root, which is not going to be for /cd password. Let's go back. We'll go back a couple of directories for /cd password. And now we do have that password file, which we can view, right? I'm going to output this to a password file. Cat this out, cat password. And now we do have a couple of users. So we can grep out for bash. This is not using bash, so we're going to use it for sh. And we have a total of 4 users. We have root, shutdown, SSH. So maybe there's going to be a user for SSH, as well as for node. Since we know that this is going to be running next JS, I like looking at documentation for directories. Or let's go to directory. Let's go to directory structure. So looking also like documentation for like WordPress or like CMSs or projects that are already built, you can definitely just look at the documentation for how they're structured, because this gives you an idea of what is structured on the back end for directories. So looking back, you'll see that we do have a /app. You'll see app page is public. This seems like it's going to be under document root or the main source build of the directory structure. So we do have /app. Let's use this curl to identify finding valid paths on the back end of the server. So in this case, we have app. You'll see the read error, but now if we do this for like app 1, it goes back. Seems like we have a sub 1 right here. So sub request. There we go. Now we have a valid file name. This is pretty weird with using curl. It's kind of like malformed a little bit, but we have example. Let's go back a couple directories. We can test this for app. This is root error, so that means that directory is valid on the back end, right? So now we have valid structure. Let's go back. So I want to start by looking if we do have a .next file. This is going to be the main configuration for Next.js. Let's just go under here, Next.js for documentation. We can do this for like a .next config file. So you have next.config.js. We have the project directory, which is now within .next folder. Let's check if this does exist. So you .next. You have a read error, which is seemed to be valid on the back end. I want to look for a route manifest file. We actually do have this within AI, so we can go to pages manifest JSON in the pages. So let's see if this does work. I'm going to .next, file not found. So we don't have, we did have the pages manifest. So let's go to pages manifest. This doesn't seem to be found. Let's check a routes manifest. And we do have a valid file type for routes manifest. So let's output this to a routes-manifest.json. Let's grep this out for JQ. So we do have this for JQ. And now we have this in proper JQ. This is going to be for JSON. We do have a /path. We do have an API auth, next auth, which can probably be valid. We can test this within burp because it's probably going to most likely be URL encoded. as the page. Let's look for other pages. We have docs for section, docs, docs components layout, sidebar examples. This is just basic documentation to get started for the docs, right? For this API. So I'm gonna start by checking for this API auth, next auth. We have this already, so let's put this into a text editor. We'll make sure that we have this API auth for next auth. Since we do have curl, let's go back to curl. Let's do a minus proxy. So we'll send this within burp sweep. So we'll do HTTP for 10, let's do 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, or 10.0.0.175, right? For my IP address. I believe it runs on port 8080 for burp. So we can keep that for 8080. Let's open up burp sweep. Go to next, go to start burp. And this will allow us to capture a request within using curl. So we'll do this for 10.0.175, which is my IP address, which I did put for the proxy. And we can press enter on, let's go to /API. Let's press enter on that. Go to repeater. And now we can specify the example since it's going to be an LFI. We'll copy this. We can do /easy password. And you'll see now we have that /easy password within all those users. And we have this in the response. So we'll go to app, we'll go to .next for the routes manifest JSON. And we should get the same exact thing for this, which we had for API auth. So we're going to be under that same directory. We're going to go to app.next. We're going to go to server. I believe we had a pages under documentation. Go back. We had app as well as for server and pages. So we can go under server /pages. We'll go to API /auth. In this case, now we're going to go to this next auth. Next auth.js. Let's press enter on that. And now we do have some JSON. So this is going to be the main configuration file for Next.js. So looking at the username, we have the username as Jeremy, as well as the password for my name is Jeremy and I love pancakes. So let's copy this, put this into my text editor, as well as the user for Jeremy. We do have port 22 open for SSH. I'm going to SSH into Jeremy. So SSH into Jeremy at 10, 10, 11. You have 10, 10, 11, 83. We do have that password. Press on that. So we are under Jeremy. I'm going to do a sudo -l. Seems like we can run a user bin Terraform against opt examples apply. I'm going to go under /opt and start by looking at this example's main trf or main tf, which is going to be for the main for Terraform. This is kind of like a config file. The main thing that we want to look for is going to be for the provider. The provider is going to be the example or the directory that we want Terraform to execute. So in this case, we have the provider for examples. I did create a new directory, just call it new. And we have this for, if I cat this dev, this is going to be two config files that we do have. I cat the Terraform. One is going to be telling us, or Terraform, to run a chmod u+s, which is going to be SUID binary against bit bash. And this dev.tf or tfrc, it's going to be for the provider installation that we did see in the main.tf. This will go into the dev overrides for provider HTTP Terraform examples. This is going to be executed to our PWD. It's going to be for home, Jeremy and you, and that's where this binary is located for, or the script for Terraform to execute. In this case, we have the SUID binary for u+s for bin/bash, and this will simply just execute it. The last thing we do need, we need to specify our tf-CLI. This is going to be a variable that we can export for the config file. So we do config_file. You can find this on Google, search it up, go under home, Jeremy for new. This is going to be for that dev tfrc file, which is going to be that config file to tell us or to tell Terraform to execute our chmod u plus s against bin/bash. So press run on that, go back, come in terminal 0, do sudo -l. Now we can simply just run Terraform to apply the plugin, or for the provider, do sudo -u for root. Press run on that. You'll see now we have the path for Terraform provider examples, read, write, execute, and you'll see the owner in the group. So dls-slave /bin/bash. Now you'll see that this highlighted in red, which would have the S for SRD binary. So do /bin/bash, we want to run this as privilege mode. So we can do -p. Come in terminal 0, do ID, pwd, cding back, -la, and cat our root.txt. Or we can cd into root, -la, and then cat our root.txt. Well, guys, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.